Today I'm just done with my 35th practice session, and what a journey it's been since I've been back. On the 9th of March was my first practice session with Melvina. Every day of the first week I would feel so agitated, feeling like, oh my god, like, will I get anywhere with this? And feeling like I don't know like the right thing to do. The way I've been doing work, there's never really been a right way, wrong way. It's always been about presence and intuition and flow. And suddenly when I'm presented with structure, that part of me that wants to stick to the rules just kicks in, which I've not met this part of myself for so long. I think there was just a snap moment when I decided I'm not going to be not good at it, I'm going to be good at this. Which is like totally not the point, but in that period it was very important, because the way I was showing up feeling like I was not good was transmitting. It's worthwhile to mention that for a very long time, how I have created my offerings has really been from lived experience, not what I was taught and then regurgitated out. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just what I've been used to, which is what organically wants to emerge from spirit through whatever it is that I've learned or experienced or was meaningful for me. And I feel like I'm definitely in the process of this as well. It's a different pathway, but I feel like it still leads me back to the same place, which is like authentic expression. You know, when I created Soma Psyche Alchemy 6 years ago, the tagline for Soma Psyche Alchemy is School of Somatic Expression. What was so important to me is expressing the truth of what's within our bodies, the truth of the different parts of us. It has been really meaningful to come into that path through sound healing in a very unexpected way. To even take the sound healing training and to pursue it is already very unexpected, because I think of myself as a enjoyer, appreciator, and not necessarily a sharer of sound in this way. And I definitely do it as part of frequency medicine, as part of somatic alchemy. It wasn't taught, it was just what came through spirit. That turning point when I decided, okay, I'm not going to be bad at this, was when it changed, was when how I showed up changed. It then became like it's really not about me at all, and I felt it in my body. It wasn't just a theory, but it's not good, bad, nothing. It's what can I do for the client and the participant, the practice body in front of me. And I remember when I was really struggling with claustrophobia and I was in a Temazcal, the first time I really freaking panicked and wanted to evacuate immediately. And because of what the shaman said, I stayed. And what he said was, if I run, I can leave, and then I'm just running away from claustrophobia, or I can make the decision in that moment when I know I'm fully supported to stay and meet claustrophobia face to face. And I decided to stay. When I left the Temazcal, I was like, that's great, and I'm never doing this again. And little did I know, like 2 days later, we were going to the Temazcal, and in the dark, which is like a double whammy, because it's like constrained spaces and dark spaces, like two of my greatest nightmares. Because the people who were in the Temazcal that specific night, I think 4 or 5 new people joined us, and it was their first Temazcal experience. I was definitely scared too, and then a guy was really like heaving, and then he blocked the tiny exit of the Temazcal. I was freaking out. We were all told to leave and then to come back in. I remember feeling like, because the group was so scared, it's almost like, because I've done it before, then it becomes my responsibility to, and it's not. That was when my fear just completely dissipated and I was holding space for the group energetically. And it feels similar to this experience, whereby when it's for someone, that's when my own fears and insecurities and worries and all the content of the ego consciousness is just not important. It's not important, it's not valid, it doesn't even apply, and it's for who's in front of me. I feel like that's one of the biggest takeaway from this learning experience. And another one is using my voice. Today I posted about my experience in Neda Boyne's Voice Liberation Retreat. It was so profound for me. You know, when I signed up for that retreat, I didn't have the money to pay for it. And when I signed up for it and I told Cara how much it was, she went a bit like berserk. Feeling like, oh my god, I don't even have that, and yet I committed to it. And I told her it is a yes, and I follow my yeses, and this is who I am, and this is how I live my life. This is who she's with. And she came to terms with it like in 5 minutes. It was really quick. I know with a strong knowing that I'm meant to be there. I'm meant to experience this retreat specifically, even though I was looking for a kirtan and singing retreat, and this is not about singing at all. It's not about having a beautiful voice at all, but it's about clearing what's in the way of our authentic voice. When I read the copy, I was like, everything she's saying is what I stand for. And even the words she was using, like miracles and spirit, she was referring to A Course in Miracles because she writes songs inspired by the teachings of A Course in Miracles. So without even being a course student, I signed up. That was what brought me back to Bali after avoiding Bali for close to a decade. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. It showed me truly the innermost layers of myself. It was a pilgrimage inside myself through somatics and through sound, through voice and through expression, through clearing out everything that has been held back and suppressed and pushed down and pushed aside inside the body and the psyche. Everything was invited to come forth and to come out, and it didn't have to be cathartic. Some parts were, but it never had to be cathartic. It never had to be dramatic. It just had to be so intimate and so honest. And I feel like that is the medicine. It's that willingness to be honest, authentic, to be seen naked, and to have presence. The group who was there with me, everybody seemed to have a similar desire to come closer to themselves or to come closer to spirit. And because everyone was aligned in that way, there was deep presence, deep seeing, which is so naked, terrifying. And Neda would hold space for the group. She said to me that I'm so brave, I go so deep, and immediately I knew it was because I could, because it was safe, and I knew that my release could be handled. The last time that happened was in Avalon. When I was with Shami and Celeste, my body knew that they could handle what was emerging. It was similar in this experience, and in each day we would do a different practice, whether it's a partner practice or a group practice. And in every practice, it's like we're being stripped down to our core, whether we are exploring different emotions or different blocks. And it's so personal. Like the prompt is general, but the sharing becomes so personal. The magic of it is that we were brought into the cognitive consciousness of it, and then we just swoop down into the abyss of unconscious and allowed expression without needing to know what was coming out, but just knowing it's coming from that place. So we work with different emotions like guilt, shame, anger, relationship with God, authenticity, love, fear, and also the honesty of being seen. What was so profound for me through that entire experience is when we give ourselves the permission to see ourselves and the braveness to see what's really existing, living alive within us. We can see ourselves so clearly. And to me, that is the purpose of working with others. This is pilgrimage. This is pilgrimage of the psyche, the labyrinth of our soul, having a psychopomp to walk with us through the darkness inside of ourselves. And I don't mean darkness like it's just doom and gloom, but the darkness as in the parts of ourselves we have not yet known, owned, met, loved. So it was priceless. And also, miraculously enough, by the time I needed to pay the bill for this retreat, I could. The money came in as it always does. And that's why, like, sometimes, and I know it's just a different way of life, a different way of living, of experiencing life, different capacity too, but a lot of times when I hear people say I can't do something because I don't have the money for it, it feels like it's the other way around. When we commit to it, the money comes. When we say yes, the bridge builds itself. There's not going to be 100,000 bridges to all directions, and they can be, of course, for some people, I guess, just not my path. There can be 100,000 bridges all set up, and we stand there in the center of where we are standing and choose a path. But for me, it's always been, I identify a yes, I set my gaze there and I say yes to it, and then boom, the bridge appears. And sometimes the whole thing appears, and sometimes it's one step, just one step at a time, one plank at a time. By the time it's the deadline, whether it's my credit card payment or the final day payment, I'm always able to meet it. And I'll tell my story with regards to money another day, but I just wanted to share how potent and powerful Neda's Voice Liberation Retreat is, and I highly recommend it. So good. And it's because of that right now I'm able to be more confident in sharing my voice in the sound healing classes. The feedback that I've gotten repeatedly is that it's so unique the way it's done, and I have Shavin to thank for that because of how he has structured his approach, uniquely him, and I enjoy that so much. Being Aquarian, I really enjoy the uniqueness of this and the quirkiness and how eclectic and eccentric the sound healing journey is compared to the other ones that I have experienced before receiving, and also how he has encouraged us to use our voice because the human voice is the most powerful healing instrument that we all have access to. So because of the work that I've done with Neda, that was really the starting point of having my voice kind of in the forefront of this experience and not to be shy about it. I still am actually, but I don't let the shyness stop me from sharing. What's so beautiful is that when I was creating my vision board 2 years ago in 2024 in Melbourne, I had so many images of women singing, and it's like Florence and the machine being a fairy on stage, ethereal kind of singing. I had no idea how I'd do it. I remember at that time what I wanted was to create like language meditations on YouTube, and I just didn't know how to edit the audios and to make them of quality to upload. So I bought the mics and then I just left it aside. I didn't do it because I have no idea how to use GarageBand. So I felt like the whole 2025, I was so sad because I was barely singing, and then the photos on my vision board were just not coming to life. But because of this twist of events whereby Cara went back to Melbourne and I moved to Singapore for a while, I looked for this voice retreat and I found it found me. From there, my journey with voice really started to come in this way. It's because I signed up for Voice Liberation. I ended up in Bali, and Cara joined me in Bali, and we took Shavin's crystal and metal bowl infusion class at the yoga barn, and she said that she wants to take the training. I was like, I want to be your classmate. So we agreed to take it together, and we didn't know that the training would have so much voice, but it does. 35 practice sessions later, I have been using my voice every day in a way that I wouldn't otherwise had I not said yes to this voice liberation retreat, if I had let my not having of the financial resources stop me. So if there is one takeaway from this, I would really hope that if there is a yes in your field, if there is something that you long for, your heart yearns for, just go for it. Just go for it. Don't worry about the how. It's not your job to take care of it. It will be taken care of. That I can vouch for from my own lived experience. And that's how you get to experience the magic of light.